Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Outnumbered on Oweleketv. It is a beautiful day right here. Welcome from the weekend. I want to be very sure that every one of you had a beautiful weekend, like we did. My name is Ramsey, and this is the time a lot of people have been waiting for. And with me in the studio this morning is Michael Deacon. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Ramsey.
And I also have Rachel Abioye. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning, Ramsey.
It's good to have you. Let's quickly take you through the headlines for today. And the first paper that we have here is the Daily Trust newspaper. The big story from the Daily Trust newspaper says ECOWAS opt for negotiation as Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso quits. I have about three writers to that story, and the first writer says why we pulled out of regional bloc. The second writer to that story says action will weaken group. Diplomats are the ones saying that. Then the last writer to that big story says Atiku urges Nigeria to tighten security. And the details of that you can actually get on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Then I have other stories from the Daily Trust newspaper here, and it says, Tinubu to inaugurate minimum wage committee on Tuesday. That's going to be tomorrow. Then this other headline says how security operatives nabbed Nabina's killer, according to police. I think this sounds like a good news. In one of the stories, I was seeing that the police officer was bribed, and he rejected the 1 million naira bribe and still went ahead to nab the killers. And finally, from here, I have this one which says explosion kills 6 in Borno State. And that's going to be the size of the headlines this morning from my end. Let's get to Michael for the next paper. Over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Ramsey. Of course, we move to Vanguard newspaper this morning as it has a big story. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger pull out of ECOWAS. The writer to that story says we are ready for a negotiated solution. ECOWAS Commission. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger on suspension from ECOWAS, says the presidency. It is a serious diplomatic meltdown, says Atiku. That is a story coming from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger pulling out of ECOWAS. Still on the Vanguard this morning, Forex crisis. High import duty, depressed vehicle, and other imports. You can actually see this on page 20 of the Vanguard newspaper. And still on the story coming from Vanguard, CAF picks Osimhen for random test. Of course, at the ongoing AFCON. This is unprecedented, but we will get to, maybe Ramsey will get to give us updates regarding that aspect. Still on the Vanguard, I think the last story I'm going to take is corrupt governance responsible for insecurity, banditry in North. VP Shetima. That is coming from the Vice President. Over to you, Rachel, for the next paper.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning once again, viewers, and Happy New Week. Let's move straight into the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian newspaper, the big story we have here, which is on page 6, as regards the coup fallout, says trade security concerns as Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso exit ECOWAS. Still on the Guardian newspaper, accounts for over 40 trillion naira allocations to FCT cancels, Serap tells governors. That's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. US-based professor shot dead in Osun after party, mob kills gunman. You can find that on page 9 of the Guardian newspaper. And the last story I'll be taking this morning, this is an info coming to you, says beware, COVID infections, fatalities still on the prowl. You can find that on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Over to you, Ramsey.
All right, thank you very much for those details. Let's quickly get to the next paper, which is actually going to be our last. That's going to be the Tribune newspaper. And below the header, I have this one which says, Customs CG unveils strategies for meeting 2024 revenue target. Details of that you can get on page 6 of the Tribune newspaper. CBN's key economic projections still premature. That's coming from an analyst, and the details of that you can get on page 7. And the big story, which is going to be my last, of course, is still about ECOWAS. ECOWAS Shaky as Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quits. And the details of that you can get on page 3, where we have some riders to that story. And the first rider says their withdrawal notification not yet received. But it says, more division imminent. NIIA directors warn. Well, this is sounding somehow. Well, you will get to know more about that maybe when we return from this break. But then I want you to stay very close to your screen, because we are going on a quick break. And after this break, we'll return back with a big story. And remember, when we tell you on that number that it is big, it is something that will actually catch your fancy. We will be back. Ramsey, Rachel, and Michael. Don't go nowhere.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleketv. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. It is still outnumbered live on your screen with Ramsey, Rachel, and Michael. We told you we're bringing you a very big story after this break, and this is the big story. Have you heard that something is happening in ECOWAS? Of course, we told you. It's in almost all the papers this morning. And from the Daily Trust, where the big story is going to be centered, it says ECOWAS opts for negotiation as Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso quit. I'm just going to give you a little background before my colleagues add their voice to the conversation. This is it. The Economic Community of West African States, that is ECOWAS, on Sunday said it was ready for a negotiated solution after Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger quit. You already know the situation in Niger, and you already know what is happening in Burkina Faso. And as a matter of fact, the sub-regional body have come out to say they are ready for negotiation. The military junta in the 3 countries had earlier yesterday announced their withdrawal from the ECOWAS with immediate effect. They said they were disappointed that ECOWAS had moved away from the ideals of founding fathers and Pan-Africanism. These are some of the reasons why they pulled out. They are trying to tell the reason why they've decided to pull out. But then, something is eminent here. These 3 countries, you need to know that they are already facing suspension by ECOWAS. And they alleged that the regional bloc, under the influence of foreign powers betraying its founding principles, had become a threat to its member states and its populations whose happiness it is supposed to guarantee. Now, no happiness, whereas that's the original intention of ECOWAS, as it is supposed to be. They also accuse the regional bloc of having not provided assistance to their country in the fight against terrorism and insecurity. Terrorism and insecurity in Africa is not something that we can talk about in just a day. Not only Nigeria, but some people think it's only Nigeria that these things are happening. But not only Nigeria, but then Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are already been suspended from ECOWAS because of a military coup. But how do you think they will still provide and enjoy these benefits when they are facing suspension? These are part of the reasons why they actually decided to quit. The 3 countries mold conference, which they call Alliance of Sahel States against the regional bloc, after the overthrow democratically elected government in Niger. You remember what happened in Niger. That of Niger is the latest. The ECOWAS has suspended the 3 countries following coup d'etat. Mali was suspended in 2021 after 2 coups. Burkina Faso in 2022, and of course that of Niger happened in 2023. All of us were aware of that. That was the time that Nigeria disconnected them from the grid. You know, we are the ones giving them power. And why is all of this happening? It will interest you to know that the ECOWAS, under the leadership of Nigeria's president, talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have threatened a military action if the Niger junta, led by General Abdulhamani Chiani, refused to transfer power back to all-state President Mohamed Bazoum. And that was the genesis of the whole problem. And you know, these persons are actually rallying around themselves because they are facing the same thing. Coup d'etat in these three countries. And now they said they want to quit because they've been facing suspension. What do you think? Now, remember, during the Niger crisis, the president of Nigeria and some ECOWAS leaders wanted to do it by force, but a lot of people came up and said, let there be negotiation. And so many things happened, and Niger still did what they wanted to do. But now, ECOWAS said they want to negotiate. Hey, you mustn't go like that. They want to negotiate. Would this negotiation yield any fruit at the end of the day? At this point in time, I will allow my colleagues add their voice to the conversation. Michael, let's take it off from here. You remember what's happening. These three countries are already being suspended, all right, from ECOWAS. So they can't enjoy any benefit from ECOWAS under this suspension. But as it is right now, your president, okay, the now president, is the one overseeing the affairs of ECOWAS. Do you see this affecting Nigeria in any way? And the ECOWAS, pulling out of ECOWAS, how does it sound to you?
Yeah, Ramson, the first question I feel we should begin to ask ourselves is, what are the main interests of being, a member of ECOWAS? So you quite understand that the people of Niger, the Burkina Faso, and the people of Mali are happy with the way they are. Come back to Nigeria. The goals of ECOWAS is to, encourage, welfareism of member states, the economic boost, the economy and all of that. Are Nigerians really happy? Are we benefiting anything from being a member of ECOWAS? Is our economy working? Rather than our economy working, our politicians are taking away our resources, even partnering with, foreigners, to rob us of our resources. That's the situation in Burkina Faso. These guys see that they can stand by themselves. These guys see that they are happy, being under the military. They are happy, that the democratically elected presidents are eating our resources. That's the corruption that is also contributing to this. You see people, senators, the locations that they are carrying, the ministers, the president, even in some African states, you notice that some person will stay for 5 terms. It is sad. These are the root causes. So, ECOWAS members, or even Africa, should begin to learn some lessons. It's high time we get to be transparent. It's high time we begin to make leadership. People feel the essence of leadership. Essence of democracy. The moment when people don't feel the essence of democracy, they can go for another option, for what they want. So if you go up to Niger, they are very happy. They are celebrating the military regime. The Burkina Faso, and the Mali. So these guys are okay.
But the suspension from ECOWAS, don't you think
it's not having any effect on these guys? You will not tell me that if it has an effect on them, that they would have actually go astray. And two, ECOWAS, at this point, the critical time that we are in Africa, you don't try to use, war against your options. The threat by ECOWAS when Niger coup started was uncalled for. Look at now, you are begging for negotiation. When you've already scattered the old stuff, when you would have used diplomacy, to tackle the issue, you were already using, some strong words against them. Does the military listen to your threats?
But don't you think this coup d'etat may extend to other African countries who are not so comfortable with the democratic system?
If African leaders don't begin to set up in leadership, if they don't stop corruption, if they don't understand that the people really matters, if they don't understand that it's done sometimes when you lead and leave the seat, then we'll continue to have the coups. Even in Nigeria, some people are even some Nigerian people are waiting for it to come. Someone like me, I want it to come.
Cool, come to Nigeria. Rachel, did you hear that?
I heard. And I'm in support.
You're in support?
Yes.
They are taking me by surprise. Can you hear that?
Let's test another kind of regime. Let's see how it will feel.
So in other words, there is a possibility that this coup d'etat, because if Mali pulls out, Burkina Faso pulls out, and Niger pulls out, after dethroning, their civilian government and bringing now military, and they want to go, if they allow them to go, don't you think that some other African countries would also want to plot coup and take over from democratic
Ramsey, the
administration?
Is, what do these people have to lose?
Okay.
What if they pull out from ECOWAS today? What exactly are they losing?
Okay.
Nothing, because if they're actually losing something in the first place, they won't have left the way they left. Now, it's not just about the sanctions, the suspension. There have been negotiations, threat of military interventions. These people, they are not shaking. Their hearts are already hardened. They know what they want and they know what they are looking
And they're
for.
happy.
And they're happy about it. Okay, let me even ask you a question. What do you expect when we have, who is the chairman of ECOWAS?
Your president. Your president.
Our president. Now, what do you expect from a leader who already in your own country, we're just trying to survive? Nigeria, let me not call Nigeria a failed country. We're not going to fail.
We won't
but
fail.
we're already on that path. It's looking like it. So what do you expect when we have a leader that is leading a country, I don't want to use a certain word now, that is leading this kind of country? Now he's now leading the whole of ECOWAS. What do you expect? Now, you see these people, like I said, they have nothing to lose. It's not the same Niger that Nigeria is supplying electricity to. It's not the same Niger. We are the one going to give them things, isn't it? But they have nothing to lose because this is what they want. They're happy about it. Now, all these things that are happening, it's only showing how much these people want the good of their country. Because just in Nigeria, the way everything is failing, so many things are happening. You know, Nigerians were happy people. I always say this, we're happy people. But a day will come in this country where we cannot take it anymore. We're going to take a decision. We're going to take a step. And may we not come, let me use that word, may we not come for the chairman of ECOWAS, who is our president.
It will start from
you know, one of the things that...
Do you know what happened to Boson? That even is oddly, you know, right at his
even his son was also there.
Because this is what they want.
They're
happy about it.
So the moment will come.
Yeah, when you say they were happy about it, it amazed me. If you see the kind of support he had, you know, the kind of support the military had when they were trying to take over in Niger, it amazed me. I was also surprised.
Do you know what it means for these people to still be on now?
The masses supported them.
Masses supported it. Now, in ECOWAS, how many countries do we have? 15 countries. And 3 countries already pulled out, isn't it?
So have 12.
Okay, let's wait.
Others are saying that they can do without them. And the moment they can start, that's what I'm saying. If these issues you know well addressed, there's no point. We have to go back. Maybe we have to test also, you know, the military government, because democracy is all.
Are you talking about Nigeria?
It's not just Nigeria.
All other African
countries.
Exactly.
You know how many times some presidents are returning? Some people have stayed there for over 30 years.
They don't want to leave.
I mean, the president of the African country
is their family's wealth.
Making it. Some people will leave.
But remember, if it is military, you wouldn't have a say. And some of the things you say on air like this, you don't have the opportunity to say.
Ramsey, these countries that are left now, if their people do not want it, I bet you it's going to be all over the news.
Wow.
We're going to be getting reactions from these people. But for these people to be so happy about it, and they succeeded at it, it's something they did and no one even, they continued with it. So what do you expect?
It works faster because the people are already in support of it. So the you can go and do.
All right, well, what is the fate of ECOWAS right now, the economic community of West African states? What is the hope? 15 countries, 3 trying to pull out, then 12 left. What is the fate of ECOWAS at this very particular point in time? As a matter of fact, if this continues and all the countries who are members of ECOWAS begin to pull out of ECOWAS, then I want to tell you the truth that this is disunity in Africa. West Africa especially, I don't know what's actually going to happen at the end of the day. But why must this happen when it is the time of the president of Nigeria, His Excellency, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu? Why must this be happening now? How sensible and how intelligent and how much wisdom do you think we need on the table for the president to handle this situation? So that this situation can actually be curtailed and everything being ironed out. Negotiation on the way. But then, would Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali accept this negotiation? Looking at what my colleagues have said, do you think they will bow to a negotiation? Well, thank you very much for staying very clear to your screen. This is going to be the size of our numbers today. I know a lot of people are boiling right now. You have so much to say. Why not? We will give you the opportunity to say that. Just get to the comment section, drop all your reactions, and we will react to it. And if you've not liked or subscribed to the channel, do that and put on the notification button so that you will be the first to get every information as it is dropping on the channel. Have a beautiful day. It's been Ramsey, Rachel, and Michael. We will come on your way again, and that's going to be tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.